it's Trevor, it's Avery, it's Pat, it's the citywide special. The Eagles pull off their most impressive win yet, defeating the Ravens in Baltimore. The defense holds MVP candidate Lamar Jackson in check, while Saquon registers another 100-yard gain against a tough rushing defense. Dallas Goedert goes down with an injury, but should return in time for the playoffs. Where do the Birds stack up among the league's Super Bowl contenders? The Flyers find themselves on a hot streak and currently sit in the playoff spot. Matvei Mishkov and Travis Konechny continue to excel. The goaltending has also come up big, with Sam Ersson now returning from injury. Will the Orange and Black be able to stay in playoff contention through the rest of the season? The Sixers have won 2 games in a row after they hold on against the Hornets on Monday night. Joel Embiid is reportedly nearing a return. While the team still holds an abysmal record, can they take advantage of a weak conference and contend for the playoff spot anyway? All that and more coming up right now. How's it going, fellas?
Pretty good. New location. Thankful I didn't have to walk in the cold today.
That's nice.
It's been bricked up out here the last couple days, but not too bad. It's been good weather for the post-Thanksgiving food coma, kind of like a little bear over here all in hibernation mode right now, but can't complain that way. Went to Baltimore, got to see, I didn't watch it, but in Baltimore, but good to see the Birds win down there as I departed. Came home, got to get all nice and cuddled up and warm. Can't complain.
Yeah, it's definitely cold out. It feels like winter, even though technically it's still fall. This seasonal depression, what's it called? The seasonal affective disorder.
Seasonal affective disorder.
That was hitting this week. It's been cold.
Sad.
It's been miserable, windy, brisk. But we're here. We got our new digs. Club Bada Bing.
Oh, yeah.
For those
Bada
unfamiliar,
Bing,
you can see where we're located. I know some of y'all like to try to figure out where we live.
Yeah.
Unless we're not
at 16th and Jackson. If you're watching, you can see the street signs that he stole.
Unless we're
right
not
up
actually
there.
here. This are a different
this
street.
could be a secret underground bunker.
Yeah.
Could be anywhere. We might not even be in Philly. We could be, I don't know.
Maybe the signs are just there for aesthetics.
They got them in Baltimore.
Yeah.
There probably is a 16th and I don't know.
I don't know. The streets are kind of weird over there.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
They don't run.
They have some numbered streets. They probably have a Jackson.
Yeah,
they probably have a Jackson.
I don't know.
In Baltimore, they probably do.
Yeah, probably somewhere. I mean, it's the name of one of the presidents. I feel like
it's just the likelihood of it matching up with 16th, though, too, is tricky.
I'm sure it probably does.
It could.
That definitely doesn't happen in Boston with these goddamn streets. I've complained about that on the pod before. Just Boston geography in Boston makes no sense. Streets going crisscross, diagonal, above each other, over each other. Some probably going into the water, coming out the water, still continuing. Boston makes no goddamn sense. But anyway, I'm not here to belabor the point. We're in our new digs, our new location, our secret unknown bunker that's probably most likely, but may not be at 16th and Jackson. And we're here.
Could bleep that out later.
It's the holiday season. Yeah, I was thinking this. So we had Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. We got Christmas. Then we got New Year's.
Yeah.
Fuck, marry, kill. Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's.
Ooh. Thanksgiving?
So important distinction here. When we talk about New Year's, are we talking about New Year's Day or strictly
both.
New Year's Eve?
Both. Because we're from Philly, you can say both. If we're in another city that doesn't celebrate New Year's Day, it'd just be New Year's Eve.
Okay.
Oh man.
This is hard.
This
is a really hard one.
I think I'm gonna have to go with. Oh, I got it. All right. So I think I had to go with fuck New Year's because that's usually an exciting, fun time. So they sound like a great person. You know what I mean? It's a great one-night stand. Probably a little freaky in bed. I could take that. Marry Christmas because that's all like homey and seasonal and jolly and probably going to have a nice, happy little life. Probably kill turkey because that's...
You're killing Thanksgiving?
I think so. I think that in one take, I probably would have maybe used that for the fuck, but, then it's always the same turkey, so it's like, I don't really know. But I think that I'm going to have to kill turkey.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, with me, I think...
Because you get the same kind of food Christmas time, too, honestly.
It depends on your family.
But with snow.
Yeah,
you either get ham or turkey. It's like
snow.
The same...
When's the last time it snowed on Christmas?
You have a chance to get snow. I'm just saying that, like, that's my 3.
All right, fair enough. So, yeah, for me, I think I'm probably going to fuck Christmas. 'Cause, yeah, like, I enjoy Christmas. There are certain elements that I like. Certainly holiday traditions that I really enjoy. Watching Christmas movies, Jumanji, the drinking game, which we haven't done that in a while. Every Christmas Eve, I spend it just wrapping gifts, hanging out, just the cheesy Hallmark films. I like some of those, which you don't really get those for Thanksgiving or New Year's, but you also don't want too much of them. So yeah, I'm going to fuck Christmas. I'm going to marry New Year's. When's the last time you had a bad New Year's Eve / New Year's Day? You've probably had some Christmases that were,
Never bad. I usually feel bad on one of those days.
Yeah.
But I never have a bad... It's usually because I had a great time.
Yeah, no, it's always a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, like, so yeah, I'm going to marry New Year's. That's probably one of, like, New Year's Eve / New Year's Day, like, just... like most of the country and most of the world's probably partying. Like, that's a good time. It's a good atmosphere. New Year, new slate. Never been one for New Year's resolutions. I feel like they're arbitrary. The New Year is an arbitrary endpoint to decide to start making changes. But some people are into that. I just kind of enjoy the atmosphere. It's festive, especially living in Philly. Then, yeah, I guess I do arrive at killing Thanksgiving. As much as, like, I gave you some grief for it. I can't really get behind marrying Thanksgiving.
No, it's too...
And it's
the safe pick.
Yeah, it's kind of just there. It kicks everything off, which, like, I respect it for that. But it's clearly, in my opinion, the least of the 3 holidays.
Yeah, I'm good with the same as Avery. New Year's Day, especially once you start living in Philly, New Year's Day becomes your favorite day of the year. And then I've always, I like Christmas. It's just, I don't know. It's fucking Christmas. I mean,
it just has an innate joyfulness about it.
Yeah, I like on the, you got Christmas Eve, Christmas parties, all that kind of stuff. And then,
presents, if you're good.
Yeah. And like Thanksgiving is like, it's not bad, but it's just fine.
All you do is eat a bunch of food.
Yeah,
which there's nothing wrong with that.
Maybe get a weird drunk uncle that says some weird shit or whatever, but like there's no, it kicks off the holiday season. So it's just there to eat a bunch of food and drink a lot of wine. And I don't know.
You can do that any day.
Christmas is, like I said, it's the same exact thing. Just without centering around turkey. You're still going to have really good food. Everybody brings a bunch of shit. You eat a lot. You drink a lot.
I feel like there's a certain magic to Christmas, which makes it a little different.
The other thing with Thanksgiving as well, it's a good holiday, but the rest of the year, there's nothing stopping you from getting together with your relatives and having a meal if you really want to.
You want to deep fry turkey in the parking lot? I could do that any day of the week.
I can't just summon the mummers to parade down 2nd Street anytime I want. That's only one day a year. Yeah,
and you're not going to have a tree in your house that smells all good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's specific things,
I think we all killed Thanksgiving, so I think we all agreed on that.
Yeah,
we very rarely all agree on the same thing.
Yeah, we all we agreed enough. Yeah, the other thing I was thinking about, I was actually talking about this with one of my coworkers. She has a kid. He's like 10 and he still believes in Santa, or he might be like 12 and he still believes in Santa. How old were you when you realized Santa, or you learned Santa wasn't real? You remember this?
Yeah, I think I was like 9 or 10.
Sometime in grade school.
I'm surprised I didn't ruin it for you in elementary school before.
I know. I feel like that is. I feel like I did cling on to it longer than a lot of kids.
There's a point where you're like hanging out and people are like talking about it. You're like, yeah, dude, definitely it's not real. Then you come home, you're like, fuck. You're like, oh my god, he's not really alive. You're like, yeah. You gotta tell your parents.
I hope we didn't just ruin that for any of our listeners out there.
If we have that,
there's some 35-year-old Eagles fans like crying right now.
Yeah. I would never throw batteries at Santa.
No,
I thought I was throwing batteries at the real Santa. I thought I was just some fucking guy. Now I feel bad about doing that.
Yo, I was like 2 or 3 when I realized this. I was a smart kid, dude. I was smart. So
I feel like that's that. How do you even know who Santa is when you're 2
or 3?
I guess 2. I guess you kind of know about things when you're 2.
I don't remember that. I can't
remember anything.
I remember this vividly. So yeah, I think I was 3. Let's say I was 3. I don't think I was 2, but I was 3. I was old enough to think independently, at least as independently as you can when you're that age. Mm-hmm. Maybe I was 4. But I was definitely
that
not.
Sounds probably.
I was definitely not 5.
I think 4 sounds better because I've seen 2-year-olds and they're not really like necessarily the most aware beings.
Yeah, let's go with 4. I was not 5 because I wasn't in kindergarten yet when I made this discovery. Okay. But so my family, we lived in my first 4 years of or not 4, but during that phase of my life, we lived in high-rise apartments and we were on the 7th floor, Parkview. We used to live in Parkview. Trevor,
yeah.
And so we lived in Parkview apartments, 7th floor. Basement. We had a balcony, and I don't know, like you always hear, like Santa's gonna come through the chimney. He's coming through the chimney.
Oh, I guess.
So I'm thinking, I'm like, we don't have a chimney. How is he gonna come in? My older brother's 8 years older than me, so he's saying, well, he's just gonna. He didn't think Santa was real, but he was just going along with it
for your benefit. Just
he just says, he's just gonna land on the balcony. I'm like, well, how's he gonna park the reindeer? Like, there's no roof to park him. He can't come on the balcony. So I'm like, yeah, I don't think that he's real. I just don't see it. But like, I was skeptical at that point. But
I used to believe, like, so when I was a kid, and this is weird, but during the time when I was a kid and I still believed in Santa Claus, I never bought into the whole sleigh coming down the chimney thing.
So where do you think he came from?
I thought he just came in a big truck. Like he just...
That's like a 50-50.
Like Santa Claus is just like a fucking grizzled teamster coming in his fucking 18-wheeler. That's what I thought.
Throws out his marble light before he gets into your house. Like,
I would respect that.
He just climbs out of his truck like, I'm going to do over this shit.
Dude, you know he was a working class man. Dude.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Santa Claus was in the union.
Yeah. The gift giving union, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. The elves were not. They were,
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think he's pro-union or non-pro-union? Because he does have all those employees.
Yeah, I guess he doesn't want the elves to eat. Right. That's a good point.
Working in the cold weather like that, just making toys nonstop, listening to music and eating hot chocolate all day, every day.
Yeah, he doesn't want them to unionize. He's probably anti-union.
He's like, there's nothing else better out in the world. This is it. You have to just stay here, work the whole time.
Yeah, just union busting Santa Claus. Like, ho, 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 we're all a big family here, aren't we? Let's have a pizza party, guys. You don't want to get involved with these union
if you think about
rabble-rousers.
He's just getting them all whacked out on candy cane, candy corn, sugary, getting them all hopped up. They're not in their right mind thinking, The one guy that does think right, they probably ship him out wherever.
Those union dues are expensive. Oh,
Santa's like... my first boss when I worked at Wegmans, notoriously anti-union.
Yeah.
Just coming in trying to brainwash all the little elves. So, yeah, I guess the moral of the story is don't become an elf.
Yeah. That's out of sight, out of mind. We get to see the happy jolly man, no big deal. We don't need to see the...
Yeah, we don't know what goes on.
We don't need to see the mess behind the curtain.
You don't want to see how the sausage is made in the North Pole,
What is it? There's no ethical consumption in a capitalist society?
Yeah.
There we go, dude. There we go, baby.
Damn.
I got some more Christmas stuff. We got 3 weeks till Christmas,
We got plenty of time.
Because I want to talk, we can say this for next week. I want to talk favorite Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
We got time for all
that.
We can table that, though.
Yeah.
Once we get closer to Christmas, we can
talking Christmas
go through all those controversial topics.
Christmas traditions. But yeah, we'll get to that. Anyway, I guess we can talk about sports. Did we get any emails?
I checked a couple days ago. There weren't any. Let me check again right now.
Quick check in. Who knows? You never know.
Yeah. What did we ask people to email us about? Oh, if the food touches on the plate.
Yeah.
So I did ask someone at work about this, and the response was, "Yeah, I hate when my food touches the plate." I'm like, "Why?"
Yeah,
that's wild.
What was their why?
Yeah, nothing.
Just it doesn't feel right. It doesn't
feel right. Where? And
it doesn't feel right. Like mixing textures and flavors doesn't feel right. And I'm like, I don't really agree with that. So then I brought up, so what do you do when you go to eat a sandwich? You like take the meat off and the cheese off and like lick the mayo off? They're like, no, well, that's meant to be together. I'm like, what about pizza? They're like, well, yeah, that's meant to be. Like pepperoni's meant to be on pizza. Like, sweet potatoes aren't meant to go with turkey. I'm like, yes, they are.
Yeah, see, miss me with that.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
They're like, but if you put it on a roll, then it is meant to be. It's like, I don't know about that.
So that was their argument. They were like, yeah, if they're on an open-faced turkey sandwich, I'll eat it.
No, even open-faced makes no sense.
I was just like, yeah, none of this makes any sense whatsoever. I don't really accept it, but I get it. And then that was the end of that conversation. I was starting to
Such is life.
I was starting to get worked up. This person just started working with the company like 2 months ago. Probably like, Oh, my boss is a weirdo. He's asking me all this nonsense.
He's out here emailing HR like, fucking don't trust this man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's woman,
like,
whoever it is.
Hasn't even been here a month and they're already running their fucking mouth.
Already trying to separate
bullshit.
Trying to separate the food groups.
People like, a few people that I work with listen to the pod. I'm curious what some people that I work with like think of me. I'm whatever. We don't need to go there. I was ranting.
Don't need to open up that can.
I was ranting about some stuff today at work related, but yeah, this is a separation of church and pod.
The emails start flooding in. Well, actually, that you brought it up. Damn. Well, we can move on to sports then, I guess, if we're done with the whole.
Yeah, let's get it.
Food.
Yeah, I guess we can start off with our birds.
Speaking of birds,
always
Speaking of
the
eating,
good news.
Speaking of eating, that defense was eating.
They pulled it off. They did it. I think I was a little nervous coming into that game, but they really.
Yeah, I mean, I had it as a loss, so I was nervous. But yeah.
I think a slow start, which
start of the game looked pretty awful, but I mean, it's kind of been par for the course this year. You just know that it's going to come around at some point.
I don't get too. I mean, I say that now that we won the game, but I feel like watching the first quarter, I was very nervous. But there was a little part of me that was like, they've been doing this every week, Pat. Like, settle down, they'll be all right, and they did, which was exciting to see. You know, I wish they would do something in the first quarter, or even first half sometimes, a little bit more than just like the last 5 minutes of the second quarter. But if this is how the mold is right now and this is what it works, let Jalen Hurts throw 25 times a game, run the ball a shit ton, let the defense do their thing. I mean, no need to change it. If it ain't broke, don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I feel like I keep seeing, you see like a fucking Emmanuel Acho going on about how like, I just don't understand what the deal. There's something going on with Hurts. Like, why doesn't he throw the ball more? It's like, because the formula they have is working.
He doesn't need to. Yeah.
They also had a stat too today where it's like him and, Josh Allen in the conversation of being MVP, their statistics are almost identical throughout the whole season.
Yeah,
Now, Josh Allen only has 200 more, 300 more passing yards than Jalen Hurts does. They have almost identical touchdowns, total touchdowns, I will say, not passing touchdowns.
Right.
Josh Allen has that receiving touchdown.
Which is I was playing him against fantasy. I was like, this is bullshit right now. He just double dipped, but whatever. We'll get to that another phase. Rushing yards are equally similar. I mean, it's not, and that's with, 20 or 30 less passing attempts from Hurts. So, like, what more? I feel like when Hurts was throwing the ball 30 times plus a game and doing those stupid red zone interceptions and fumbling the ball in the pocket, they were like, he's got to manage the game better and do better at ball security. Now that he's controlling his ball security,
now it's like he's just
now they're like, he doesn't know how to throw the ball down. I guess he forgot to throw the ball. It's like,
they were like,
come on,
he's got to manage the game better, and now they're like, he's just a game manager.
Yeah. And it makes no sense. But I'm happy if they want to keep being mad at Hurts for not being perfect, that's fine with me, because right now, whatever he is doing is enough to win the game. I mean, you got an MVP caliber running back and a stout O-line, no pun intended. Why force the ball in the air? That game will come.
Yeah.
I don't know if it does. Because here's the thing.
I mean, this was the one game you thought he was going to have to throw the ball more.
Yeah, here's the thing, right? It's because I've been saying this for the last few weeks. Yeah, they're going to be in a game where they need to put up points, where he needs to keep up with the other team. If the defense keeps playing the way they are, then they're never going to be any shootouts, because the defense is just going to continue this just shut down offenses after they get a little momentum. Like the first quarter of that game, I'm thinking, oh, yeah, this is the game. Hurts is going to have to throw us to victory. And he was bad the first quarter. I'm like, uh-oh, I'm not feeling too good. Then the game all changed on that punt.
Yeah.
Remember, you said our punter is the best player in the game in the group chat, and I was like, "Yeah, that punt was the best play."
Yeah, he had a couple really good ones.
And like after that, momentum shifted. So like, the Eagles handedly won the defensive side of the ball, and special teams. Special teams made so many good plays, punt on like stupid stuff that you don't really think of, like 2 punts down inside the 5, where like the gunners get down the field quickly enough to make the returner not want to catch the ball. And then not only do they get down the field quickly enough to deter the catch, then they down the ball inside the 5 twice.
That's what I'm saying. 5 punts inside the 20. That's
insane.
That's with probably 2 more punts that went in there, but then Keely Ringo or whoever was...
Yeah, there was the one where he's out of bounds.
Went out of bounds, and then he hit the guy who called for a catch. So probably could have been 7 punts inside the 20-yard line. in a pivotal game where the offense was kind of slow and stagnant. That first half, special teams was the real saving grace as well on top of the defense. So, yeah, they're all three phases of the game have been doing their whole part, which is nice. Sidney Brown doesn't really have a major place in the secondary anymore, given all the other new acquisitions.
But his special teams plays happen.
Every other week, he's been popping guys. I mean, every time he hits someone, you're like, he might pop that ball out. Like if I'm a punt returner now, and I see Keely Ringo, I don't really get too scared about. But Sidney Brown, he's coming down untouched. He'll knock you out.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is if they win 2 out of 3 phases, like offensively, you could make the case that running game they won, passing game, it was probably
if you
a
take,
push.
Well, if you take away, you take away some of that, that
garbage time drive aside.
Yeah,
like it's
70
definitely
yard
a push.
That was a run, though, I guess, too. But that 70-yard Lamar Jackson takeoff. It's like, all right, well, clearly we're playing deep. Think you're going to air it out, and then you run around, and it is what it is.
That one play he had, Milton Williams' jersey got ripped off. But anyway, if they can win, the running offense does its thing. The passing and rushing defense does its thing. And special teams, Justin Tucker left 7 points on the board. The go kicker, he's washed.
Man, talk about him, yeah.
Yeah, so they handily won special teams. And as a result, what I was anticipating was going to be a game where Hurts is going to have to air it out. He threw the ball 19 times.
It was a nasty weather game, though. It was pretty cold.
It was cold and windy, yeah.
And it snowed, it flurried a little bit there off and on. But, you're down Devontae Smith. A.J. Brown still was there when you needed him to be there. And he's assumed that new role of, I don't need to always get the ball here and there, but when I do get my opportunity, whether that's for a first down or for a red zone touchdown, I'll be there for you. And Hurts is okay with that. We don't need to force him the ball 15 times. The defense knows you're going to go to A.J. Brown. What they also know is that they're going to run the ball a lot, but it's a lot harder to stop 5 massive O-linemen beating the shit out of you for 60 minutes than it is to stop A.J. Brown by a double team.
Yeah.
So,
That said, I would like to see A.J. Brown get the ball a little more.
Yeah.
He didn't get a single catch in the second half, although that's a little,
Although, how much of that was the defense realized, especially once Goddard went out.
Right.
It's we don't have to respect anyone on this offense other than passing offense anyway, other than A.J. Brown.
If anything, too, there's no... I guess my point, too, is that, there's no need to force Hurts to throw the ball a lot right now, when in reality, you're getting toward the end of the season right now. Some teams are in desperation mode, right, trying to get into the playoffs. The Eagles seem to be more primed to just be in the playoffs in general. We're fighting for the 1 seed, but we hopefully are in a good spot to at least get in the game. You don't want to see someone force a game to get A.J. Brown the ball more, or Devontae Smith the ball more, and get hurt against, the Giants or against Dallas or whatever it is.
That's what happened last year.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you can run the ball with Saquon and Kenneth Gainwell and even Hurts, a lot of his QB runs, he was untouched for the first 4 or 5 yards, which I feel like we haven't seen
because they were so worried about Saquon.
Right. So I feel like his time, it will come. Hurts, it'll happen if need be, but at the same time, if it doesn't show up, I'm also totally fine with that. And A.J. Brown's not freaking out about it. He's not
because they're winning games. He can't, right? If they were losing, he could be.
But he even seems more he seems like, man, we're good to go. Everything's fine.
That goes back to what I was saying last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever. The energy and the vibes, the record's roughly the same as it was this time last year. The way they're winning games is so different, and you can tell the players feel it.
Yeah.
Well, what's your stance then? What's your viewpoint? You go back 6 weeks, right? We all had feelings toward Nick Sirianni. How are we? What is our assumption then of his role within the organization right now? Right, when they were on that 2-2 stretch, we're like, man, this is it. He don't need to be here.
He's shaving his head, bringing his kids to a press conference, screaming at fans.
What do you feel right now is his biggest attribute to the team?
I think it's the culture. I think it's the play personality, and it's the culture. You got all these guys like Cooper DeJean when he pile drove Derrick Henry, and he starts doing this or whatever, which I think that's from 8 Mile. I don't know. I think that's what he said. But then you see the side, everyone on the sidelines doing it. Zach Bond apparently was I didn't know what it was, but I just started doing it because everyone else is doing it. And then you watch the way post game when Sirianni's in the locker room giving his his post game speech, how the players respond. They're shaking their head. They're hell yeah. So I think he's really helped establish like an identity of this tough, physical, gritty team. You hear him say that a lot, and the players have really felt it. I also think that just the culture, like each one teach one, we all got our boys back. That wasn't the case last year, and I think he learned from that. I think this year he learned not to meddle so much. Earlier in the year, you remember he was saying, yeah, I called a play on defense.
Yeah.
I did this. I told Kellen to do that. Like that was my play call. None of that stuff was working. So I think he realized I got to let the position coaches, the O coordinator, the D coordinator coach, and as the CEO coach, kind of like a Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin doesn't really get involved in any of that. Not saying Sirianni's half the coach he is, but he's kind of understood his role isn't to meddle. It's just to oversee everything as a whole, establish an identity, a culture, some values. His core values still don't all make sense to me, but the players seem to dig him, and that's all that matters.
As long as it's working, man.
Yeah, I think the NFL's gone away from, I think we touched on at the beginning of the season, too, of, you think about teams that have had a Pete Carroll for forever, or Andy Reid is, one of those weird one-offs that has been there forever. Harbaugh now, Tomlin. But other than that, coaches are kind of interchangeable anymore in the league as a whole. You have a terrible season with expectations, and they get rid of a coordinator or a head coach, and they try to fill it up mid-season with somebody else, and then at the end of the year, they're looking for a new head coach, where I think this could potentially be, the MO of a new scheme of kind of coaching dynamic, right? Where, the head coach doesn't have to be the main guy. You can have a solid defensive coordinator. I mean, luckily Vic Fangio is kind of at the end of his, he's an older coach, more seasoned vet. I think he's probably happy to be here. He alluded to the fact, and he has said it on his last press conference this week about we tried to make this shit happen for years, but it just never worked out timing wise. But now I'm finally back home.
Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah.
So
asshole.
He's content to not no one's kind of chomping at the bit to take Sirianni's job internally. Where I feel like you bring in a young hotshot coordinator, their goal is to be a head coach one day. Kellen Moore, we'll see where that transpires if he's happy to be an OC still and build something, but. You need to almost have that connectivity where, you see in KC where Spagnuolo, he's got enough hardware and kudos to probably get a nod to be a coach somewhere, a defensive-minded head coach, but it would be he could go anywhere for these shitty teams. He'd go to Carolina and build a defense up or whatever. But I think that it seems that we finally have no headbutting in the coaching staff, which is a huge testament to Sirianni. Where last year the fucking wheels are just falling off left and right.
Which you can blame him for that too.
Exactly.
But, yeah.
Which to your point, he learned about all right, the culture is the biggest thing to build. I'm not going to be the scheme guy, but that's you look back to 2022, he was that. He had a solid base of coordinators.
Shane Steichen was calling plays.
He was just a vibes guy. He was keeping everybody happy and content. You had a bad game, he'll pick you up, whatever. You go the next year, and it just nobody could have handled that, perfectly. And I think this year you're seeing his true skill set come out, which is just a people pleaser. And, he keeps everybody happy, keeps everybody motivated, keeps everybody focused, and there's no outside noise coming in and out. And he's kind of calmed his little self down, which is good.
Yeah, I think the bye week when he lost his mind and shaved his head.
Baldiani, baby, undefeated.
Came out screaming at the fans and bringing his kids to press conferences. I think he needed that cleanse. Then he had one last episode, that game against the Browns when he did all this stuff I just mentioned.
Yeah.
And then he realized, okay, this ain't it.
Yeah, I think, managing grown men in a locker room probably can't be easy.
Especially 53 of them.
Yeah,
Jesus.
It can't be nothing to bat an eye at, but we can't look to Sirianni to be this, Bill Walsh or any guy that's going to dream of a crazy scheme. You know what I mean? He is what he is. He's a locker room guy, and he gets the best out of his players, a motivator kind of like a Mike Tomlin, not necessarily a scheme or, anything like that, which hopefully we end up on a good spot at the end of the season here. But right now it's clicking, and I love to see it. That was a big test against Baltimore, and they showed out on the road, tough game, and they came out with a dub.
Yeah, and I mean, the score wasn't even really – the game wasn't as close as the score would indicate.
Yeah.
That garbage time touchdown just threw everything out of proportion.
Yeah. Lamar stat padding at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Trying to get that MVP.
I mean, hey, if you had them in fantasy, you probably didn't mind it.
For sure.
I mean, I didn't start Mark Andrews, my dumbass. I've lost 8 games in a row in our league or 6 games in a row in our league. But then in my other league, I'm in first place again.
I was facing Josh Allen, so I thought I was fucked. But then Jerry Jeudy decided to become Randy Moss for a day. So
Jerry Jeudy revenge game.
I'll take that.
Yeah, that was a good game the other night. But yeah, man, I mean, it's just wild, the turnaround of this team. I mean, think about last year. It wasn't like just a kind of disappointing year or things just didn't go our way. It was an abject disaster of a season.
Historically bad.
We had a defense that looked like they did not know how to play football, who were just getting torched by all of these basement-dwelling teams towards the end of the season. And now we have arguably the best defense in the league. You have all these rookies that are playing out of their mind. You have this defense that looks just like a well-oiled machine. I mean, you really can't say enough like how impressive this turnaround has been. And now, like after that game, I mean, I feel like all year, like during this winning streak, there's been a lot of talk of like, are the Eagles contenders? Like, are they up there? Can they, be up there with the Bills and the Lions and these top tier Super Bowl contenders? And after that game, it's like, yes, they absolutely are. Like, it's fucking on now to the point where I feel like we're in Super Bowl or bust territory. Like, anything short of an NFC championship, I think is going to be a disappointment. So, I mean,
I 100%
it's
agree.
fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. I feel like we're also not, knock on wood, injuries are also the biggest factor. Like the Lions, they've been getting jammed up.
Yeah.
They've been getting banged up, and they're not putting up 50 every game anymore and things like that. I mean, the Bears, not for nothing.
We got to talk about that.
If they had just learned that they had a timeout, they probably could have won that game.
That was infuriating.
I was like, I said the Bears could steal one from them, and I was like, oh, this is it. And they just gave them.
I was like,
they almost made me look like a genius.
We were driving up to Jersey City when the game started. And I was like, I watched like the whole like first half just on my phone. I was like, well, it's 16-0. I guess my hopes of, the Bears upsetting is not going to happen. And then we're there for a while and like eating and stuff. And I just happened to check my phone. I was like, oh shit, it's like close. I'm like, holy fuck. And, and then as soon as I get the game back on my phone, they'll just blow it. It's like,
I was watching that. Like, I just got,
what the fuck?
I got to my older sister's for Thanksgiving. I'm like, we're all sitting there watching the game. Like, she's finishing up dinner or whatever. And the Bears are driving and they're down 23-20. And I'm thinking, man, they might actually do this. Like, they were looking good on that drive. Mm-hmm. Like, penalties were going both ways, but they got a bunch of penalties to go their way. And then Caleb Williams takes that sack. And I'm sitting there, like, me and a couple other people are sitting there watching the game. We're like, call timeout.
You got 30 seconds left.
They don't call timeout. They get up to the line of scrimmage. They don't spike it. They take, like, 25 seconds, and then they run a play. Like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Then homie got fired the next day, deservedly so.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of what he failed to do as a coach leading up to that game, that was just egregious. Like, Andy Reid 25 years ago would have handled that situation better than he did.
I could have called that shit with a name like Eberflus. Are you kidding me? Bad.
Yeah, that was so.
But my point though is that like Detroit, like I feel like to your point, Trevor, like we are contenders. I mean, everybody said this game against Baltimore was the big test, right? You're playing against a tough team, cold weather,
Baltimore.
MVP candidate with Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry versus Saquon Barkley, great defense in Baltimore. Let's see what they do. And they came out with a dub, a very convincing win. To your point as well, Avery, that last minute garbage thing. They should.
It wasn't like they just, eked this out or something. They it was a decisive win.
Yeah. So I think we definitely are. Our trajectory compared to last year at this record, just about feel way better about it. And watching the other teams at the top, you got Minnesota who hasn't played anybody, also at 10-2.
They're fraudulent.
So they're a bitch ass team. The Vikings,
Packers, we already
unfortunately, Vikings are getting hurt all the time.
Got to root for the Packers tomorrow, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be I can't wait for that game.
Definitely. Yeah. And KC is a fraudulent team.
Oh, they're extremely
fraudulent. Dude, did you guys watch that game Friday?
I watched a good bit of it. I didn't catch the end of it.
Yeah, I felt bad for the Raiders at the end because they looked like they were going to go up the
with
field.
That fumble?
And then, they just, their center just fucked it up. Ugh.
Chiefs
got bailed out again.
They're the luckiest team I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's wild.
They're what? What are they? 11-1?
11-1. I can't wait till they get.
They're 11-1 with like a plus. Dude, 52
say, there was another thing that happened during that game that has become my biggest fucking pet peeve in the NFL, and I don't know why they can't figure out a way to correct this with the rules or whatever. Where there's like a deep ball down the field that gets underthrown, and then because the defender has to come back, like they end up colliding, and it gets called a pass interference. Yeah. It's just fucking insane. Like, they keep rewarding quarterbacks for underthrowing the ball.
It's almost
like it reminds me of the shit that who's the guy from the Hawks? The
Trae Young.
It reminds me of the Trae Young shit where he would like back up into the guy purposely, and it's like not like that's like purposely happening, but it's just like
you're drawing a foul.
If you're both going forward and the ball's underthrown, the receiver's going to have to come back, and he's going to run into the defender.
Mm-hmm. It should be.
It's insane that gets called every time.
It should be deemed an uncatchable ball. If anything.
Exactly.
Like, I can understand not wanting to
stop
call.
rewarding these teams for fucking up throws.
Yeah,
it drives me insane. And that happened in that game. The Chiefs.
I mean, KC's got like they're just on a historical run of sucking the ref's dick and just getting every possible call.
You used to always see Mahomes crying to the refs.
Yeah, like they're just such a soft team. Their defense actually isn't even that good anymore. I mean, you go toe-to-toe with Carolina. Not for nothing. They haven't been playing well the last 4 weeks. So, like, this is a big trap game, I feel like. At least we're home. But I feel like the defense hasn't been playing well for a KC standard defense. The offense is subpar. I mean, it's...
Dude, what do you call it? Noah Gray is getting more touchdowns and more receiving yards than Travis Kelce.
He's looking like he's about to retire.
And like Xavier Worthy, not a terrible pick, but not ready for the spotlight. DeAndre Hopkins, still good, but he's not what he used to be. Like, they just got Pacheco back. Kareem Hunt was a little above average. Like, nothing on that offense other than Mahomes is really that scary.
No. I mean, it is what it is. I think we are... of the other contenders right now, probably the most lethal and prepared to go all the way now.
Us and the Bills.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'll throw the
in the
Bills
AFC
in there.
for sure.
Yeah.
I think the Bills they at least have that pissed off energy too, where like they've been there before, not to the Super Bowl, but they've been so close so many years. This is really their opportunity to take the AFC, I think, because not for nothing, Baltimore typically crumbles under pressure in the playoffs, and KC, if they can just beat KC again, they should be pretty good to go.
This is definitely a year for the Bills to do it.
This could be the Bills and the Bills Mafia versus an Eagles tailgate.
Oh God,
yeah, I'd love that.
Jesus.
That's what everyone was rooting for last year.
Yeah,
and then whatever, but
didn't happen.
We're not here to relive
not here yet. We still got to get through.
Collapse.
We still got to get through Carolina. Coming up.
We got Carolina, dude. Carolina's been playing some
good
ball.
A lot better lately. Yeah, Bryce Young's been looking pretty good lately.
Yeah, his stats the last 5 games since he came back from being benched. 102 for 169, only a 60% completion percentage. 6 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, 1,082 yards.
I mean, for him, that's good. You know, and I feel good for...
That's probably above... I shouldn't say above average. That's about average for a starting quarterback in the league, I feel like.
Even if it isn't, I just feel happy for him that he's finally had a good stretch of games. I know he hasn't... Maybe the win column hasn't...
Did you know he's kind of from here?
I did not know that.
He was born in Wynwood.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I know where Wynwood is. Damn.
Yeah, he was born in Wynwood. My car dealer is right not too far from Wynwood. Yeah, he's kind of from here, even though, he moved out to California when he was a kid. But I respect that. And, yeah, I did, I don't know, man. They threw him into this terrible situation, terrible coach. Yeah. No weapons on offense. Just a bad, a franchise with no allure to it.
Yeah.
What the hell did you expect was going to happen?
I get that, but I just feel like at the same time, it's just nice to see him,
No, I'm with you.
Get some good mojo. I mean, he just looked so sad on the sideline for the first half of the year. It was kind of depressing to watch. But, he's putting together some good games. He's getting some momentum. Again, the win column doesn't reflect that, but they, you go toe-to-toe with KC, and that's nothing to chalk home, that's nothing to write home about. That's a pretty big thing for him to do.
Yeah, and
compared to when he was getting his ass kicked every other game against whoever came into town.
To go to OT against the Bucs with Baker, with Mike Evans back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that was a winnable game, too, to be honest with them. So I think that we have it's not to see around this point today in the press conference, the league, you can't sleep on anybody in the league because they will humble you quickly.
I mean, we learned that last year when we got blown out by Johnny Gans and the Cardinals.
But I think we're not on that same trajectory as last year where it was oof, I don't know, man. This team is 10-1, but I still don't know. They should go out there and demolish the Panthers, which I feel confident about. The little every given Sunday in the back of your head is still saying, this could be the trap game that puts us at, out of reach of the number 1 seed. But I feel good that we'll probably just kick their ass. I don't feel bad about it going into it. Cold, 1 o'clock, which I'm happy about, so I'll be home early.
Yeah, what's the line on this? Eagles
12 and a half.
Okay,
Yeah.
when I checked, it was minus 13. I don't think we cover. Yeah, my prediction is that we don't cover, because they've been playing some good ball. Their last 3 games have all been decided by 3 points, and yeah, they lost 2 of them, but they won 1 of them, and they've been competitive. Like Bryce Young, I read those numbers off. He's been better. Adam Thielen's back. He's old, but still a really crafty veteran wide receiver. They got Xavier Legette. He's funny as hell.
I love that man.
Yeah, he's funny, man. Talk about eating raccoons for Thanksgiving.
That was funny as shit. I think my cousin got 2 raccoons. I'm happy about that. And I was like, what?
Did you see the Jameis Winston post game?
When he was saying, I wish the Lord.
God, wish the Lord would deliver me from these pick sixes. He's like the goofiest fucking guy.
He's such a caricature of himself, man.
I love that man. He's like a Muppet.
Me and my barber were talking about this. My man needs to be a reverend. He totally needs to be a reverend or like a motivational speaker or both.
He will one day. There's no way he won't be doing something like that. He's so in tune with his, you know what I mean, religion and just the Lord and all that stuff. He's
going to be up in the pulpit.
And he does say some good shit. I mean,
no, that's what I'm saying. He can be a good motivational speaker, but he'll be up in the pulpit. He'll be a pastor. He'll be retired and rooting for, where's he from?
Somewhere. I thought it was from somewhere in
the South.
Alabama?
Yeah. Well, I think they were saying that like him and Bo Nix are from the same town.
Okay.
That's why they were like talking afterward.
Jameis Winston.
He'll be down there rooting for whatever team, saying, Lord, it is Sunday. Please forgive me for all my pick sixes. And please deliver the QB of the New Orleans Saints from the evil of 10 sacks.
Bessemer, Alabama.
Yeah, he's probably a Saints fan.
The horse is ready for battle. Yeah, anything is possible in the eyes of the Lord.
He's going to be up there spitting, dude, just dropping lines, dropping metaphors about football, relating them back to God.
And any given Sunday could still drop 500 on your head, yard-wise. I mean,
throw 2 pick sixes and threw 500 yards?
Yeah.
Wild.
He threw I think he threw almost every touchdown that game, just about. He threw 4 or 5 for himself and 2 for them, which isn't unlike him. I mean, you know, he did have that one season with, 35 or 42 touchdowns?
But then he had like 30 picks.
Well, yeah, it was a 30 for 30.
Yeah, he's wild, definitely the chaos quarterback for sure.
I love him.
Better than Deshaun Watson, though, but we're not a Cleveland Browns podcast.
This was an NFL moment.
As much as
snow started coming down, my feet start getting all heavy.
You see him doing snow angels?
Yeah.
He's hilarious, man.
He's a big kid. You have literally like, if you're like the Browns owner, you have the actual literal angel on your shoulder with Jameis Winston and the little devil on your shoulder with fucking Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
It's like, what an odd locker room that must be.
Yeah, like I said before, the vibes in that QB room are probably are still off, but they were definitely off when Deshaun Watson was playing football for them. But anyway,
we're not playing the Browns. We're playing Carolina.
Yeah, back to the Panthers. Yeah, I could see this being a decent game.
Miles Sanders revenge game?
Hell no. He's like their third string running back. I ain't scared of him.
Yeah.
Like, numbers-wise, the Eagles should win this in a blowout. The Eagles are 4th in defensive DVOA, 8th in offensive, 3rd in rushing, 16th in passing. The Panthers are 29th in offense and 30th in defense. So, like, on paper, it's like it should be a blowout. But, like we said, they've been playing better lately. I don't think it's a Miles Sanders revenge game, but Bryce Young might be like, yeah, I'm kind of from here. I want to show out a little bit. Plus, him and Hurts both went to Alabama. He might take that personally a little bit. I still think that the Eagles win, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles don't cover. I got Eagles 33, Carolina, 20? 21. So the Panthers barely cover.
I'm right with you almost. I'm 34-20.
Actually, I was going to say 35-20.
Go for it.
Damn. Yeah, there we go. We're all right around there.
It'll be good. We'll get Saquon his rushing yards so he can stay in pursuit of the NFL record. Hopefully he's able to sit the second half of the fourth quarter.
I hope so. I think he might miss the record just based off of, if we somehow are able to clinch, a number 1 seed, I think they probably pump the brakes on that. However,
it just depends on how it goes.
However, if it does stay neck and neck, where we're waiting for, let's say we keep going toe to toe, where we just need the Lions to lose one more here and there, but he needs to average 120 some yards per game from here on out. And if he does hit that trajectory, the game that would break Dickerson's record would be against the Giants, which would be hysterical.
That would be really funny.
Because that's the last game of the year. So if he averaged right now 125 a game or whatever it is to get to 2,000 plus whatever, it would happen against the Giants.
That'd be hilarious.
Which would be fucking.
Oh man,
it would just be great at home. Wait, no, in New York.
No, it's home.
It'd be home.
It's home.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Joe Shane would get fired the day after that
I would
game.
hope so. His son had 3 better picks in that fucking Hard Knocks than he did. He was like literally anybody. You can't go wrong. They never mentioned picking up. I mean, Malik Neighbors was okay, but he mentioned three other quarterbacks.
That's also a no-brainer.
Yeah. But.
Damn.
Yep.
Yo, one other thing. We didn't talk about it. The Goddard injury. I don't think that's that big of a deal.
I think
we played without him for like 3 weeks already this year and like 5 weeks last year.
Yeah,
he's always hurt.
Well, that's because he was rumored with fucking Avonte Maddox.
Formerly my new boy Nolan Smith's been balling though.
I think that's a him. I think like even Devontae Smith, they alluded today that like he probably could have gone last Sunday.
Yeah,
but
he could have played.
What's the point of him running in the cold on a hamstring? You got a good thing looking right now with the team. I think Goddard's the same MO. Like you get Devontae back, who had a week off of playing. Do we need to have Goddard when honestly Calcaterra and everybody's been looking pretty good to sub in for him when they need to, and we haven't been using Goddard. It's not like he's out there getting 120 yards a game anyway. So let him get some time off, heal up a little bit. It's gonna be cold out, so that'd be fine. You got Devontae Smith, AJ Brown.
I mean, Calcaterra's looked fine. Like when Goddard was hurt, he had a couple big plays receiving. As a blocker, he's gotten a hell of a lot better. I think he's the tight end of the future, I think.
Forgot to say, too, we signed a fullback.
Yeah, because Van Sumeren, that was the other thing.
About that.
Van Sumeren being hurt's kind of a sneaky big loss.
Yeah, but not anymore. This guy looks pretty good.
We were able to run, like, strong eye and eye formation and weak eye with him in there and just the lead blocker for Saquon.
If we could do that with a linebacker, now that we have a true fullback, I bet you that record might be long gone.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what it looks like with a fullback.
With a guy that
I think he's only on the practice squad yet, but he's probably going to get promoted once he learns the system.
I'm sure he will. Maybe this week probably won't be the week. You don't need to against Carolina, but I would imagine you play Washington coming down the stretch or Pittsburgh. He'll have a pretty big stretch down there. And he played for Cincinnati, so he knows that team.
Yeah.
Well, Tomlin-esque team. He doesn't know.
Yeah, he knows the AFC North. But yeah, I think losing Van Sumeren, I have it written down, was a bigger loss than Goddard.
Definitely.
That might be okay. It's not a hot take. You don't think so?
Goddard to me is like
a hot take, but
I think Goddard.
So
I think this season, Goddard is kind of pushing Avonte Maddox territory where he could be a top 5 tight end. He could be a top 3 tight end.
But they're both hurt all the time.
Yeah.
I think
exactly.
I think Goddard's,
this next draft is definitely going to be the time to draft a tight end.
Well, there's tight ends out to ask for it now.
Yeah.
A lot of good tight ends in this draft.
What's the dude from Michigan?
I can't tell you their names.
I was listening to some podcast.
State's got a good one.
Notre Dame's got a great one.
Yeah.
Which probably won't fall.
Notre Dame always has good tight ends.
But this one's like really good apparently. So, we'll see.
Yeah, well, Goddard, man.
Goddard's about to be the new
get well.
Brent Selleck.
He probably will be. If he's still here, maybe. I don't know what kind of contract he's on. Whatever. We can talk about
we can move on.
Tight ends and whatnot another time.
Speaking of tight ends, though. I was gonna try to do a Mitchkov thing, but I don't know how to allude into that.
Where are you going with Mitchkov?
I try to segue because he's young and playing pretty good. Probably got a little. I'm just playing. I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay.
No. All right. Anyway.
But yeah, so the Flyers have been playing well. Been winning some games. Mishkov had another nice little OT winner recently.
Remember, it's Mishkov.
Yeah, Mishkov.
Yeah, he's been
he's been really good.
He's been pumping.
Yeah, dude.
Three game-winning goals, 3 overtime game-winning goals.
Yeah.
He's among the league leaders in game-winning goals. A bunch of guys have 3. I think I was looking at the stats today. A few guys have 4, and a couple players have 5. But I mean, for a rookie to be up there with 3 overtime game-winning goals, the record in Flyers history for a teenager,
big.
That's huge, dude.
Yeah.
He's looked great.
Konechny's been great.
Konechny is 5th in the league in goals, tied with a bunch of guys. But I mean,
so
he's living up to that.
I forgot to mention it in the intro, but Konechny and Sanheim and Ristolainen got selected
I
for
saw this right before I
the
walked
Four
over
Nations
here.
tournament, which I honestly didn't really know what that was until a few days ago. I looked it up, and I guess it's a thing they're doing instead of the All-Star game this year, which is, kind of interesting. But, congrats to them, to the Travises.
The Travi.
The Travi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nah, I mean, the Flyers, man, like Mishkov's been playing great. Sanheim's a machine. He's 4th in time on ice per game among all defensemen in the league.
Like in the NHL. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, he's been great. It's definitely been his best season so far.
Yeah, he's been holding it down.
I feel like he's always been one of those guys that's, you can see the potential, but he's kind of up and down. But it seems like this season he's finally put it all together. So, yeah, it's great to see. And I feel like, for me, the big key of this, like maybe not like the biggest reason, but like one of the big keys of this turnaround, why they've been so hot lately, is like the emergence of Emil Andre as a real serviceable defenseman.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's better than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I remember going into the season, we were like, well, they're kind of just running it back without Sean Walker, so that defense is probably going to have a lot of holes. They're probably going to give up a lot of goals, this and that. But he stepped up in there and has looked really good. Yeah, I mean, he's just solid. Looks like a responsible defenseman.
He's a better skater than I think I expected.
Yeah.
Especially for someone so young. Like I thought, right away he's gonna have to really grow into the NHL speed and really gain some weight and gain some muscle to be able to skate that fast. But no, he's already really good with the puck, strong with the puck, fast on his skates. He's exceeded my expectations. I think a lot of the reason for the turnaround, in my opinion, is the goaltending.
Yeah.
Right?
The two backups have gotten a lot better.
Fedotov, those first couple games made me squeamish and sick to my stomach. And don't get me wrong, I said this last week, he still kind of looks like a beached whale sometimes flopping around on the ice.
Yeah.
But it's an effective beached whale. Will he let up a goal that he shouldn't every now and again? For sure, but everyone does. And is his technique kind of alarming sometimes? Yeah, but he gets to more pucks than he doesn't. And he's kind of learned how to see around a screen. Before, you remember, he would always just rely on his height to try to look over it, get all out in front of the crease and try to look over it. He's kind of realized, I need to either see around it or see through it. And I think that's helped. And then Kolosov, he's settled into the NHL game a little bit. You could tell first couple games it was moving too fast for him. The ice is a different size, things like that he needed to adjust to. Mm-hmm. I think also, to your point, having better defensemen, having Emil Andre in front of them has helped. But also the goaltenders have just done a better job.
Yeah. Yeah, Kolosov doing so well is pretty exciting too, because he's, Fedotov, it's nice to see that he's kind of come around, but obviously he's not really in the big picture for the future because he's a little older. But Kolosov is a legit prospect, so it's particularly nice to see him doing well. I saw that the other night. I remember they gave the little championship belt thing to Mishkov, so cool, and then he turned around and gave it to Kolosov.
Yeah, he spoke a little English.
Yeah.
He was good win, great penalty kill or great PK, but Coley was the best player.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was cool. Which especially, I feel like it's so funny that I remember going into that draft, all of these kind of reports about Mishkov is kind of self-centered and full of himself and maybe not really much of a team player, locker room guy, and that has been very much dispelled.
He's been so cool,
dude.
Yeah,
I feel like that was just totally wrong. So yeah, I mean, things look good. Right now, I think they're sitting in
the
place. Second wild card spot.
Yep.
Right there with the Rangers, who they beat on Black Friday. I feel like it's been a while since they've won that Black Friday game against the Rangers, so that was nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, the Rangers haven't been playing great.
They haven't looked very good.
Even that game, they were relying on Shesterkin to do a lot of, the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
It's they very easily, I think the Flyers were up 3-0, 2-0, or 3-0 after the first period. It could have been 5-0.
Yeah,
Shesterkin was standing on his head. The defensemen weren't doing anything. The Rangers, puck possession was really poor. That game could have been a lot worse. The Flyers won, but I feel the Rangers have been getting by on smoke and mirrors. And, they'll figure it out. It's a really good team.
Yeah, they have a lot of good players.
But
how long has Laviolette been there now? Because I feel like that he definitely is one of those coaches that has
3 seasons,
like a shelf life. You know,
is it 3 years?
Maybe, but I don't know. Maybe the locker room speeches are starting to have diminishing effects. A
little stagnant in there.
Yeah,
he's like you remember when Doug Collins was the Sixers coach?
Yeah.
Laviolette's like the Doug Collins of hockey. Like, he does well for a little bit. There's like a honeymoon phase, and then after that, it's just personality just wears on people.
Yeah,
I mean, we saw that here.
Yeah, I mean, I did love the Laviolette era. There's some really good times, but I feel like that's the deal with a lot of coaches where they have this, the ones who kind of have that real fiery presence and stuff.
Kind of get yelled at
is good for
times.
A while, but then after a while, it's like, okay, I've heard this before, and it's not going to have the same effect over and over and over again.
Yeah.
You can only watch him throw things around so many times, you're like, all right, this is fucking boring now.
Yeah.
This is only his second season as the Rangers coach. He
really?
He was with the Capitals before, so we saw him a bunch either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Flyers, I do have some questions about whether this is sustainable. Like, there's a lot of good stuff going on. Like, I mean, Erson's coming back. They have 3 potential NHL quality goalies. Like, Fedotov and Kolosov are playing well. We'll see if that continues. Erson, we know from last year that he is an NHL caliber goalie. So I'm not super concerned about the goaltending. I'm more so concerned about, all these overtime games, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's too many of these games are going to overtime.
Yeah, it's a lot.
The Flyers, what do we say? Mishkov has 3 overtime game winners. They won a couple more in shootouts. I mean, in a game that's literally just chasing a rubber disc around on ice, there's too much randomness to be relying on getting to overtime and hoping that you win.
Yeah.
And for that to be the model that you make it to the playoffs on. It worked for the Islanders last year, but they got really lucky. I just don't see it as sustainable.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, they do need to figure some things out. Like, the young players will continue to develop. Hopefully some of the guys that have been scuffling, the Owen Tippett's, the Tyson Forsters. He had that goal the other night. Who else? Oh, Lawton. Well, Lawton's not really a young player, but he's been scuffling a little bit. Like, hopefully some of these guys can get it going to where, they don't need to win games in overtime. They can win a couple games comfortably in regulation where you're just chilling. But yeah, I feel like every game I'm just watching the third period, please don't go to overtime. Please don't go to overtime.
Yeah.
Please don't go to overtime. And a lot of them go to overtime.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how sustainable this is essentially what I'm saying. If some of the offensive players, some of the skaters wake up, I think it is, but we'll see. Also, I was thinking about this today with Erson coming back. If he can stay healthy, do they try to flip Fedotov or Kolosov at the deadline? Kolosov probably not, but
no, I think there's potential there. I think they want to hold on to him. But yeah, I mean, if there's a team out there that wants, I don't know, I just don't know how much value a guy like Fedotov's going to have in the market.
You can probably get a late round pick for him.
Yeah, I don't know. The other thing too is that he does that contract that they gave him is probably way more than you typically pay a backup goaltender.
Good point.
So,
yeah,
I guess if they were trading him, they could eat a lot of that money.
Because, the way I'm thinking is Zavragin's going to be up in a year or two. Then what?
Yeah. It's going to be...
He's what,
I think he has 2 more years on his KHL contract. Okay. And unlike Mishkov, his team actually likes him. So I don't think they're going to be as willing to part with him. So I think he's probably going to just... finish out the rest of that contract. Yeah, so
maybe we keep all 3 goalies. It's a weird arrangement, but
yeah. I guess everyone's healthy. I don't know. Are they going to just carry 3 goalies, or
they can't. If they send Kolosov down, he's probably going to ask to go back to KHL, right? And then Fedotov, what's the situation with him? I guess they could.
I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what his contract is.
But yeah, Kolosov, I don't think they can because then he's just going to want out. And they don't want to piss him off
because he's still a prospect. He did start the year in the AHL, so I think they came to some kind of agreement.
But, like, if they send him down, can he be like, oh, yeah, never mind, this ain't it. I want to go back. Allentown sucks.
I don't know. I think whatever the concerns they had got ironed out, because there was never a guarantee that he was going to play in the NHL this year when they finally decided to come over.
Yeah, and then injuries happen. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
Random thought I had today is like, wow, Erson's healthy. Now what do they do? I guess they just roll with 3 goalies.
Yeah, maybe for a minute.
Interesting. Yeah, they'll have some other trade pieces. Risto.
Yeah.
Lawton's always on the table yet. We'll see. But maybe they're not going to be buyers. But maybe they don't sell as hard. Although I said the same thing last year, then they broke my heart and let my boy go.
Yeah. Yeah, we shall see.
I think that's it on the Flyers.
Yeah,
they're back in action tomorrow after.
Yeah, they had a long layoff.
4-day.
Yeah, that was
4-day layoff in the middle of the season.
I was confused. I was like, why are they off for so long?
Yeah, I thought they played tonight, but nope, tomorrow. Who do they play tomorrow?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm trying to go to a game soon, actually. Who do they play tomorrow?
I've been to 2 so far. They have not won yet.
I haven't been to any. The last game I went. That's going to be a tough game. If they win that game tomorrow, though, damn, dude, if they beat the Panthers tomorrow.
Yeah. Are they at home or are they in Florida?
It's home. Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah, we're going to have the Flyers against the Panthers and then the Packers and the Lions. Tomorrow's going to be a good night.
Yeah.
For it to be cold and miserable and be stuck up in the house.
Mm-hmm. I'm okay with that.
Then Saturday against the Bruins. Then Sunday against Hockey Club from Utah.
Ooh, the Hockey Club.
Damn, that's a back-to-back. Oh, that's cool. Sunday night hockey. I ain't complaining. Watch the Eagles and watch the Sixers play at 1 o'clock, too, on Sunday. Yeah. That's stupid.
Sorry.
Damn.
Yeah, damn, I can't decide whether I want to watch the Eagles or the Sixers.
Although the Sixers tied at halftime. They're tied in the third. Anyway, we can get on to the Sixers. I don't have any other Flyers points. Really, I don't even really have a whole lot to say about the Sixers either.
I don't think we need to. I think we just...
the situation with the team has not changed much since last week.
I have a bone to pick with Nurch, but...
What you got?
Dude.
Nurch news.
Well, so first of all, they beat the Pistons.
Yeah, they finally beat the horrible Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
Dude, Toby... I was cracking up. I knew he was bad watching the game. After the game, I was looking at the box score. He had 4 points on 1 of 8 shooting.
Hell yeah.
I was cracking
There's
up.
The man we all know.
Classic
There's
Toby.
The man we all know and love.
Classic Toby time.
He's scoring 0 points in his last game as a Sixer, and then it carries over to his second game against us.
Yep.
4 points on 1 of 8 shooting. My ass, dude. But yes, that game was fine. Like, Paul George came back. He didn't look great, but, like, they got the win. My problem with Nurch, last night in that game against Charlotte, Jared McCain's lighting it up. His, 13 points? He has like 7 or 9 points in a row. Nurch, in the fourth quarter, the Sixers are starting to blow a 19-point lead. Doesn't bring Jared McCain in, brings old-ass Kyle Lowry. Which
he loves fucking Kyle Lowry.
Dude, the other thing that I thought was funny...
The fuck?
Was Kyle Lowry with his hair, like the headband, and then this like hair all poofed up. He looked like a thick like middle-aged woman from North Philly. I was like, damn, he kind of looks like respectfully, I was like, damn, he kind of looks like some like women you might see at the corner store on like 17th and Diamond or some shit. I was like, damn. Nah, he looked funny. But then, like, he was so bad. And just like, Nick Nurse, man, what are you doing? Like, I get it. Kyle Lowry's a vet, and, like, he won you a championship. But it's just, you have Jared McCain, who was lighting it up in the first half, who teams actually have to respect him as a shooter. The offense is scuffling, and you go to Kyle Lowry? And then after the game, this man has the nerve to say, oh, yeah, well, I really considered putting McCain in. It was a really tough decision. So, yeah, I mean, maybe you should have thought about it a little more and actually put him in the game.
Yeah.
I was watching that game, and I'm seeing them just give up the lead, and just like, what the hell is he doing? Put him in the game. Put him in the game. Then I see Kyle Lowry come in, and just like, oh, they're going to blow this. Luckily, they didn't. Like, Paul George looked really good last night.
Yeah, he was great.
And then Maxey just knocked down a bunch of free throws at the end.
Yeah. The end of that game took a fucking million years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's par for the course for the NBA, but
that one
particularly seemed like just took forever to end. But
it's good to see George out there looking good, though. Looking like an actual NBA star, which is nice to see for a change, and playing for the Sixers, which is good.
Yeah. Actually playing games.
That's always good to see.
Yeah, it's good to see the star.
That's become like our big benchmark for this fucking team. It's like, are they playing?
Yeah.
The star that you're playing $53 million a year. It's great that
Are we
he's
getting
playing
a random
game.
handful of players, or are we getting the actual guys that we were excited about to see play this year? McCain being a bonus, but like, I just hate that every game this season is just like, does Embiid feel like playing? Does Paul George feel like playing?
Well,
is Maxey healthy?
They need to, like, if they're serious about making the playoffs, like, they need to abandon this quote unquote plan with Paul George and Embiid.
Yeah,
like particularly like I get it. Embiid,
they need too many wins at this point. Like
Embiid's meniscus is shot, and like he's like probably starting to develop arthritis in that knee. Like I said last week. Like, I get that, but, like, Paul George, man, like, you came back and played, like, 35 minutes last night, looked great. You mean to tell me you can't play on a back-to-back tonight?
Right.
At home? And, like, you got the next few games out, or no, I guess they go to Orlando after this, but you have a game at home, then a day off. You couldn't have played tonight, too. Which I don't think it's his decision to make. I think it's the plan. But, like...
The plan.
They're, what, 5? They're 5-14?
If this doesn't end up being a like
2 of those wins against the Hornets, one against the best.
If this doesn't end up being a crazy ass plan at the end where they fucking glide into the playoffs and they're smoking the Knicks and they're smoking the Celtics, like
that's not going to happen.
Yeah, but
I will tell you that right now.
I don't think so. I think
what's today? December 4th.
Yeah. Wait.
It's December 4th. I will tell you this right now. My hot take a few weeks ago is that they won't make the playoffs. I've kind of abandoned that because the Eastern Conference is really bad. They're 5-14 and 2 games out.
Yeah,
in the loss column from the play-in, right? And like once you make the play-in, like in any random type of stuff can happen. So I won't sit here and say they won't make the playoffs. They might. The thing is they aren't going to have any experience playing with each other, or not enough to really go far in the playoffs. When you're looking at New York, these guys.
I believe in the plan.
Yeah,
you're smoking bad, dude.
It's going
to be like that Brooklyn team from a few years ago, where they never had their big 3 playing together. You know,
they're all just teasing us every week. They're like, I think they're going to play today. Then they get to like, no one's going to play today.
All these teams have been playing together for years. Boston, these guys just won a championship together. New York, they've been playing since college together. Orlando, these guys have come up together. They're developing together. Cleveland, these guys played together.
Philadelphia, they all got paid together.
Indiana. Like Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner. I was about to say Miles Sanders. Miles Turner, Halliburton, T.J. McConnell. These guys have been playing together for years.
Yeah.
The Sixers aren't going to have any chemistry. So, like, in the event Embiid does eventually, like, figure out a way to manage his arthritic knee, like, they just aren't going to have the time and the ability.
Differently when he's in.
Yeah, they aren't going to have the time and the ability to develop chemistry. Like, I think that's kind of why they struggled for the first... before they won a couple games in a row. It's because it's taken them a long time to adjust to playing each other, and they've looked more coherent the last 2 or 3 games, but you throw Embiid in the mix, then they're going to have to go through this whole cycle again, then he's going to miss a week because his arthritis is acting up, and they're going to have to do it again. It just, I don't know, man. And yeah, I'm not saying, like, I'm just assuming Embiid has arthritis. He probably does.
I mean, he either does or will, or early onset arthritis. He's got something.
The doctor I've been following, and he also broke down the when Trevor Lawrence got decked, Brian Suterer on Twitter. I started following him, dude.
When he got murdered?
Dude. Whew. He posted a video about, like, fencing position. Literally, like, 20 minutes after it happened. I was like, damn, he works fast. But nah, he broke down...
He's like the Woj of injury.
I respect it, though.
Yeah.
Because he breaks it down and, like, shows you, like, a diagram of whether, like, the injury occurs. And, like, it keeps it really simple for someone like me to get it. And, where was I going with this? So, he had, like, this 15-minute long video about Embiid's knee. Just like, yeah, he's never going to be the player he used to be. It's like he probably is developed. There's a good chance he's developing arthritis because he doesn't have any meniscus left. Just bone on bone like my bunion. Except that knee's a lot bigger than my big toe, especially when you're 7'2", 280 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, you get paid a lot of money to deal with a little bit of pain. I don't know, but I get it. It's not.
It's arthritis.
It is what it is. But
there's some days where
I believe in
my arthritis is acting up and I can't even walk. It gets bad, dude. And that's just in my big toe, and I'm just walking. I'm not running up and down a court.
So thank God. I mean, you'd be be on a plane too.
Yeah, maybe I should be.
Good thing your fucking ass isn't playing for the Sixers.
maybe I should. Maybe I should be on the plane.
Yeah.
Honestly, you would fit in on this team right now. Like, oh, Avery, it's raining out today, so his arthritis is kicking up. He can't play today.
His bunion's twice the size. He can't fit it into a shoe, so he can't play. Hey, I'd still be collecting a paycheck, but I don't think that's what Embiid's doing. I think, man, I said this last week, and again, the offer's out there for any mental health doctors, mental health professionals that are listening. If you want to come try to help us talk about Embiid's mental health, this prize sucks.
Yeah,
imagine he had the 70-point game. He's on top of the world, the MVP, runaway MVP last year. Team was one of the best teams in the East. He gets hurt, literally the next game. And then after that, the team he's not the same. The team isn't the same. That's probably a lot to deal with, especially when you're 30. It's one thing if you're LeBron's age. If LeBron just fell off a cliff one day, it would suck for him, but he'd be yeah, I'm damn near 40. Embiid, in his mind, probably has at least 4 or 5 good years left, but the body just can't keep up with him. And mentally, that's...
If the plan is then to just let him heal up and Paul George heal up at their natural time, well then, what the fuck? Then let the knee blow up on the court and go out in the blades of glory and call it a day.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
This sort of thing,
what? He's already paid.
When your meniscus is shredded and it's bone on bone, that just doesn't heal. That's the one thing that the doctor said in his big video that I didn't mention last week because I didn't know. Is this isn't just gonna heal up. It just, I don't know.
I don't know why they can't put some jelly beans in there.
Well, he should just quit playing basketball, chop the fucking leg off, call it a day, and that's what we should do then. I feel like I'm just kind of, over the whole. We know he's banged up. We know the knee probably is killing him. I get it.
They're handling it terribly.
But then either write him off for the whole year and let the plan be stay a whole year to rehab and come back next year and let's see if he can do anything, or chop that bitch off and call it a day.
Well, I don't think he can do that, but...
Well, then, what are we doing here?
To your point, the Sixers are handling this poorly. He's out with left knee injury management. There's no injury. It's just he doesn't have a meniscus anymore.
Right.
It's not injury management. It's literally probably borderline arthritis management. But I don't know. There's a whole lot of... Actually, now that I'm remembering this video, the doctor also brought up, Joel Embiid has notoriously always been really hush about his injuries. He's been sensitive to people knowing about him. And that's probably partially what's at play here. It's the Sixers know what's up. They knew what's up when they signed him into the contract. They were hoping for the best with this plan, but obviously the best laid plans go to waste sometimes. In this case, they did. And now Embiid's probably shh, I don't want anyone to know. I'm afraid people are going to label me even more injury prone. That's the facts.
Yeah. Even more he is. That's what he already is labeled.
You literally don't have a meniscus in your knee.
You can't get labeled more than injury prone when you're already labeled injury prone. That's what he is.
Yeah. Some of the injuries were freak injuries, but this the repeated knee injuries aren't at this point.
Doesn't have to be, a natural. It's just, it is. It happens. He attracts injuries to himself, whether that's his physique where the knee just can't sustain that kind of wear and tear, or it's a random elbow or a random, whatever.
You can't.
I'm just saying.
You can't say running into Markelle Fultz's shoulder is him attracting an injury.
I'm just saying he is.
That's a freak. Pascal Siakam being mad because Embiid's giving him buckets and elbowing him in the face.
What's the difference? What's the difference between a freak injury and just he does have a way of getting these injuries? Whatever you want. Maybe it's not injuries attract. He's not attracted to injuries, but something clearly I don't know what it is,
They
but
seem
he
to
does
find each other.
Yeah, Embiid and getting hurt go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly at some point.
Certain injuries, sure, like the knee injuries, the
No,
lower body
I'm not
injuries.
saying bodily given. I'm just saying he does.
Not that it's his fault. It's just that this happened.
He's like the guy that you wake up in the middle of the night to go take a piss and the lights are off and he stubs his toe every time. Like, it's not that he's meaning to do that, but like it just happens to that guy every time.
Well, that's
what I'm saying.
What did I say last year when he got hurt? He's a tragic hero. That's his tragic flaw. Just bad luck.
Yeah, he's too big.
Really inopportune luck.
He's a too big man for a small cape. That's it.
But
can't quite get off the ground.
He's supposedly coming back. Nick Nurch, he doesn't get called his real name yet. Nick Nurch was saying before today's game that Embiid could be back as soon as Friday. Bullshit. He ain't coming.
Yeah, he was like, we'll see how he does tomorrow in a little shoot around, and then we'll see what's up.
I don't think he's coming back for like another week. But whatever, man. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. Maybe he'll come back and he'll look good and be able to play for more than 3 games. Maybe they won't have to have another team meeting where Tyrese Maxey's calling him out. I don't know. On positive Sixers news, shout out Jared McCain, Rookie of the Month.
Rookie of the Month, yeah.
Hell yeah. Rookie of the Month for the month of November. By far the best rookie in the league. He averaged 16 points. The next closest rookie only averaged 12.
Yeah, looking good.
And like, this is the guy.
Great pick.
The 16th pick, who at the time we were like, like his ceiling's great, but like, you don't really know what to expect. He exceeds my expectations almost every game. Last night, he had that one play where like he was like driving and he faked a pass and laid it up real quick. I was like, damn, I didn't know he had that in his bag. Like every game, he pulls like 1 or 2 plays where I'm like, damn, there's still a lot to his game that we haven't seen. Here's another bone I have to pick with Nurch. He never runs any plays for McCain. Never.
I don't know if you really necessarily need to, though.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, but the way that he's playing, his style is kind of freeform that way.
But like, the Warriors may not run set plays, but they have sets and like concepts to get Steph Curry open. Well, Nurch just goes and tells McCain to go stand in the corner. When JJ Redick was on the Sixers, like this was a few years ago, but like they had set plays for JJ Redick to run around screens and run through elevator doors and like run like pin downs to get him open. They aren't doing any of that with McCain. Like you have like one of the best young shooters in the league, and like you're just telling him to go stand in the corner and hope someone passes you the ball. Nick Nurch, man. Like Jonah said, that podcast over a year ago.
Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, the Brendan Fraser of NBA coaches. He coaches the most, but he doesn't coach the best. And like every time I watch him play, shout out to you, Jonah. Every time I watch him coach, that resonates with me more and more. I'm just losing my goddamn mind. But shout out to Jared McCain, the one positive, the true positive thing I have to say about the Sixers. And what are they doing right now, actually?
They're down by like 4.
Oh, wow. They were down like 14 points at the end of the first quarter. Okay.
They've been going neck and neck the last couple minutes here.
They're down 3, almost the end of the third. McCain with 18 points.
Damn.
See what happens when you play him, Nurch, you fucking bum.
Yeah. Dude, speaking of, I was like looking to see if I could find like a Jared McCain jersey. And you can't even fucking buy, like you have to get like the custom.
What?
Yeah. I'm like, how are you not like, how is this not like front and center on the Sixers shop website?
Josh Harris is probably like,
dude, like what's going on? What are you people doing over there?
Paying to get his jersey printed. That's too much money.
Yeah, what the
you
fuck?
Think I can't afford it. Though, for your first pick, that you think you'd have at least enough that you would have traction for.
That is terrible.
Yeah, he's not even in like the drop down menu of guys. Like you have to do like I want a custom jersey and just type his name in.
Like it's your own last name.
What the fuck's going on here?
Yeah,
dude just won Rookie of the Month. He's probably
they want more money that way because it costs more to make a custom jersey that way.
Yeah, that's Josh Harris, dude.
Yeah,
but if you had them available, you'd sell more. Like you don't have to fucking do that with a Bryce Harper jersey.
They got that arena to pay for.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
I mean, Josh Harris has to afford his Jets from a Commanders game.
The Commanders game
to a Sixers game to a Devils game. He has to be able to afford all that in a couple days. Yeah. So he's an asshole too. He needs to sell the team. But anyway, that's a different story for a different day. I don't think I have anything else. We got any nonsense to talk about?
Yeah. Well, there's been some news shit, man. There's been a lot of things going on. Fucking, there was a martial law in South Korea.
Yeah, what was that? I saw that yesterday. What was that all about?
It was like the outgoing president decided to declare martial law, and I don't know. I guess because he was accusing like the party that won the previous. I think I have this right. Maybe I don't. But like the party that won the most recent election, that's going to be like the incoming government. He's saying that they're like aligned with North Korea and all this shit, and so he's declared martial law, and then like Parliament gathered and voted 190-0 to lift the martial law. And then he was like, "No, I'm still keeping it. Like, fuck you." But then he just didn't have enough of the like police and the military to cooperate to keep it going. Which is, I feel like there's been so many attempted coups and shit in the past couple
of years.
You're
already the president. It's like a weird coup.
Well, yeah, it's weird. It was like
plus while you're the outgoing president.
Yeah,
but you're already in power. Like you're not even. A coup is when you're trying to overthrow what's already there, but you're like trying
this
to
was
just
like a
become
not quite.
Like, I am a dictator now. They're like, nah, man, you're not, dude.
No,
like,
you're the outgoing president.
We're switching it up now.
This is gonna last for like.
But I feel like there's been a few coup attempts in the past few years where they just have they've kind of like. I don't know. Maybe it's because there hasn't just been like a good, successful coup in a while that they forgot how it goes. But
January 6th, but
Brazil. It's like the number one rule of coups. You need to have the military on your side. Like, if you don't have the military on your side, it's not going to work.
If you don't have the what is it called, guns on your side, you're not going to overthrow anything.
Because there was like protesters came out and like surrounded the parliament, and they were like, the protesters have been able to beat back the military and stuff, and it's like obviously it's because the military were just like, I'm not.
Fuck that.
Like, I'm not getting involved in this shit. I'm not, like, going to start shooting people for this fucking guy. Like, I don't care. Yeah, like, you need to have, like, real commitment, like, on a deep ideological level, which he clearly did not have. And it's just like, dude, like, you know, what are you doing, my man?
All the guys said, they were like, are we doing this? They were like, I don't know. Like, all right, well, I don't like that idea. Yeah, we're not doing this.
It's like, I don't believe in anything. Like, I'm not getting paid enough for this kind of shit.
Yeah, he won't even be my president in a few months. The fuck do I
So there was that shit.
You had the USA.
French government collapsed today.
Oh.
I don't know, like
I saw something like
even
this.
After Beaujolais Day, all that money they brought in for that shit.
I got like one push notification.
Yeah, I guess they had like a new prime minister recently that like no one likes. So like the far left party in France and the far right party in France both got together to like impeach him.
Really? Damn.
Wow, that's weird. That's when you know it's heavy.
Yeah, and France is one of those countries that has both a president and a prime minister.
Yes,
so like Macron is still the president for however much longer or whatever, but then they had a new prime minister who I guess nobody likes, and they got rid of him. So now there's like, I don't know, they have to like reconstruct the government.
So is he king now?
I don't know how it works.
Is Macron king?
No, I don't think.
So when something happens to a prime minister, like typically, like say a prime minister dies, who takes over for the prime minister?
I don't know. It depends on the country, I guess,
like
and a
vice prime minister. Or that's probably not the term for it, but do they
have something like that?
They probably.
Well, it's usually like in most countries, like the prime minister is just the leader of the party that's in power.
Right.
So like in the UK,
you'll have like a Speaker of the House, and you'll have like the leader of the loser party.
Have a parliament.
So if it, if the United States had a parliamentary system or whatever, like if the Democrats had won, like Nancy Pelosi would be the president. You know what I mean? It's like just like because she's like the de facto like speaker of the like leader of the like whatever. Gotcha. I mean, they could vote for someone else to be that. They like party members vote for their leader or whatever.
What happened when Boris Johnson a few years ago?
He stepped down.
Who replaced him? Oh, they had an election.
He was losing his party anyway.
There was that woman that was the prime minister for like 2 months. She was like the shortest prime minister ever. I forget. I don't even remember what her fucking name was. That's how
she was before
that. Little she was in power.
UK politics could be different from.
Yeah, they'll like call elections. They only last like a couple months.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just thinking like
they can call it whenever they want as long as if they lose faith in the leader, then they can like flip the script.
Yeah, it's a lot more. Things are a lot more fluid over there, I guess. I don't know.
You know what they should do?
Fucking Europeans.
Embiid's got French citizenship. He
Yeah,
won't be playing
Embiid should
basketball
become
for
the
too much
president
longer.
of France. Yeah, though I mean, I feel like people probably still have a grudge.
Nah, they hate
against
his
Yeah,
ass.
they gotta vote for his ass.
Yeah.
Well, what about Nick Batum?
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
Gershon Yabusele.
I would vote for Batum.
Yabusele.
Although then Yabusele won't be on the Sixers anymore. He'll be too busy running.
I would vote for Batum.
Running the
Boom
parliament.
Batum. He could retire finally.
Yeah,
move to
he's old
France.
enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
he can go back home.
I could see that.
Yeah. So there was that, and then there was that CEO that got this morning.
yeah.
Good.
Dude, that was insane. Did you see the video, the surveillance footage?
That was some
Yeah, that
fucking
was
James
wild,
Bond shit.
dude.
Remember
Yeah.
they pulled I said,
Burn it, burn it.
Yeah, with the little silencer too.
Yeah, that was cold.
Yeah, he had a fucking silencer on the gun.
that was sick. You have enough for a
This is so
silencer,
insane.
but not enough to get transport out of there so you get a city bike
Who's
home.
the CEO of the world?
I heard apparently he wasn't on a city bike. People were saying
Aw.
that earlier, but I think the NYPD said it wasn't a city bike.
Are we trusting the NYPD right now?
Yeah, maybe they're covering their ass. I don't know.
Who? The CEO of what? Who?
Of United, Health?
Healthcare.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I couldn't remember who.
yeah.
Going to a summit to talk.
Just like, I guess, the biggest private insurer in the country. He
going
was
to the
some
summit with a
conference.
bunch of an investor summit. Which oddly enough, well, I don't know. Actually, I think that was just odd enough right there. That man just walked
Yeah.
out leisurely, going for a little stroll. Pop, pop.
Respect.
Yeah, dude, fucking, it was crazy. Like, it looked like a fucking a real pro, you know?
Well, they kept. I love when
Wasn't
you
just
see.
some random.
You very rarely get to see the old assassin in the news anymore. And
I
that was
know,
sick
right?
to see. I was like, ooh, this is like
Like, every time there's like,
interesting.
it's always just like, some mass shooter,
Yeah.
just random crazy
Or
bullshit.
you
This
get,
was like a targeted hit from
This
a guy that
was
knew what
sick.
he was doing.
and we don't know where he is.
And we don't know who he is. That he got away. We don't know who
Good.
the fuck he is. I don't know if he's
Maybe
ever
he'll
going to
succeed
catch him.
next
Silent.
time.
He was smart. It wasn't like some just fucking slob off the street to go shoot this guy. It was like this was a very well planned strategic mark, and he executed it
Well, hopefully
to
tries.
perfection.
Hopefully
Although
tries again.
he didn't wait to get close to the alleyway. He did it right in front of the hotel, which probably doesn't help out the other guy. But I'll take
But
it.
he
That's
still
cool.
got away. He still got away at the
for
end of the
now.
day.
Yeah.
This will be on Netflix or HBO in a second. Once they find him, this will be a whole fucking special.
I mean, I hope they don't find him, or I hope the only time they find him is after he succeeds, or maybe he'll go after Trump.
No, see, even that too wasn't like that wasn't an assassin. That was just like some fucking depressed Republican
Yeah, that was some
student.
depressed
Like,
kid, but-
cool. He would have been a school shooter 2 months from now if he didn't try to shoot the president. Like, this is great. This
Yeah.
was like assassin tried. That was
Yeah.
cool. I like that.
Yeah,
Which
this
makes me
was
think,
more
like-
of a professional gig.
It
That's
looked like-
true.
Yeah.
When he-
It makes
when
me
that-
like wonder like what, because we still don't know what the motive was. Like, people are like, optimistically making it out to be like, this is a guy who just hated the private health insurance, and was like, well,
I don't know.
it was probably something else.
This is
to be
still gonna
honest.
bite us in the ass
It
for
was
some
like,
reason.
yeah, it was probably just. I mean, who knows all the shit that rich people get into? I'm sure this guy had some enemies. Maybe he was involved in some kind of money laundering or something crazy like that. There's all kinds of things.
He probably was supposed to be on that submarine, but he didn't go.
Yeah,
and
he's
that
supposed to
guy
be on the
brought his son.
submersible.
It wasn't my son. It was supposed to be
Yeah,
you.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably what
Maybe
it
the
was.
wife killed him.
Or maybe, I don't know, maybe he slept with the attempted assassin's mom.
Maybe,
It's like, yeah,
but this
I'll
isn't
make
some
you.
like
Your
MAGA
sister-
shit or like even QAnon because like they would not use a silencer. They're
No,
not that smart.
they wouldn't.
They're not that smart.
And they wouldn't get away.
No.
Yeah, they wouldn't have had it planned out.
They'd have
that
been in
well.
full camo with an American flag hat on and like shot the guy and not even killed him.
They would have like raised a fist and waved
Yeah.
a MAGA flag or something.
This was
stupid.
like the way you pulled. He said that was cool. I was waiting for that little fucking circle thing to be like with the blood dropping down like 007.
Yeah.
Need more smart assassins in the
Mm-hmm.
world.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, I feel like that was like there hasn't been a, that type of just well executed assassination since Shinzo Abe. Remember that guy, like the
With
former
the fucking
president of
handmade
Japan?
pipe bomb
with the
thing
crazy,
or whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that one was really impressive because like people don't have guns in Japan,
Right.
So he had to.
Yeah,
he
how
had
do
to
you make that?
Yeah, he made like a Home Depot ass gun. Yeah,
Rambo,
yeah.
like the Rambo of Japan. Although, are we calling if someone kills a CEO, is that an assassination?
Yes.
He clearly targeted him. Yeah. He was apparently waiting.
It's not a presidential assassination.
There were some witnesses who said that like this guy was just hanging out outside the hotel like all night waiting for this dude.
Well, what is the difference? Why is it?
With the difference between an assassination and a murder?
Yeah, like what? Murder is also still planned. They say premeditated murder. They don't say premeditated. I didn't assassinate my ex-girlfriend. I just killed her. Not that
all assassinations are premeditated, right?
Yeah, but why isn't it just, he murdered, the CEO got murdered?
It's just a status thing if you're a high enough figure.
Yeah, like if someone murders like
an assassination.
Is it the silencer? Is that the key?
No.
Because the guy came out like a ninja?
Not necessarily.
Nah.
I'm just curious.
I think it really is just like a position of status in society.
Didn't have a silencer. They didn't have him back then.
Oh, yeah, okay, true, yeah. Well, he's a president, though. So that makes sense. CEO of a fucking healthcare company.
He's
telling me the CEO of Southwest Airlines gets killed? They're like, assassinated.
Probably.
What?
I don't know.
I gotta know the standard then.
I feel like assassination, it's implied that it was premeditated and targeted and specific. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna look it up.
I don't know. I mean, it's not like it's a legal distinction. It's still just first,
There's that guy.
Still, just first degree murder, premeditated murder. He wouldn't. If the guy got caught, he wouldn't be going on trial for assassination.
I get it.
You know what I mean? It's just what they call it when it's like a prominent figure that's being
according
targeted.
to the Oxford language, an assassinate is the murder in a surprise attack for political or religious reasons.
Okay,
so I guess we still don't know.
So that makes sense. It probably was politically motivated.
Yeah, it's probably politically motivated in a sense.
Yeah, something. I guess that makes sense that it'd be political because like mob hits, you don't call those assassinations.
Right. Yeah, I think those
aren't political.
Those are people with some clout.
Those are just business.
Yeah. All right, that makes sense.
That's life in the mob.
Yeah.
Bada bing.
Well, I guess that'll just about do it for us here tonight, everybody. Thank you for listening and tuning in. Please leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. Follow on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Send us an email at citywidepod@gmail.com. And from all of us here at the Citywide, good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Peace.
See you.